At 82 years old, I've lived long enough to learn some hard truths, but nothing prepared me for the regret I feel every single day after moving into a nursing home. Back then, it seemed like the right choice. My family assured me I'd be safe, cared for, and surrounded by support. But what they didn't tell me, what no one warned me about, was how much I'd lose in exchange. The moment I walked through those doors, my life changed forever. And now I'm sharing what I wish someone had told me before I made that irreversible decision. If you or someone you love is considering a nursing home, please keep watching. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this might be the most important message you hear today. And if you've ever doubted whether a nursing home is the right choice, let me know in the comments. Type 1 if you've had similar fears or know someone who has. Don't forget to like and share this video. You might save someone from making a heartbreaking mistake. Now let's begin with the first harsh truth I learned too late. That first morning, I woke up disoriented. The unfamiliar walls, the sterile smell, the silence that wasn't mine. But the real shock came when I reached for my robe, only to remember I couldn't even decide when to get dressed anymore. Breakfast was at 7:30 sharp, whether I was hungry or not. The nurse smiled kindly as she handed me my pills, but all I felt was the weight of someone else's schedule controlling my life. At home, I'd start my days slowly. Coffee in my favorite mug, the newspaper rustling as sunlight filled the kitchen. Here, an intercom announced activities like we were school children. Bingo at 10, arts and crafts at 2. Times they called it structure. I called it surrender. The hardest moment came when my granddaughter visited. "Grandma, let's walk in the garden," she said brightly. I hesitated, then had to press a button and wait 20 minutes just for someone to approve my outing. Her face fell as she whispered, "This isn't you." That's when I knew. Independence isn't just about ability, it's about dignity. And piece by piece, I was losing both. If you're watching this and thinking, "I wouldn't mind not cooking or cleaning anymore," pause. Ask yourself, are you ready to trade every small freedom you have left? Because once they're gone, you'll miss the chaos of your own messy, imperfect life more than you ever imagined. Comment 2 if you've ever feared losing control over your daily life. And don't miss Chapter 3, where I'll reveal the painful truth about what happens when families adjust to your absence. At first, they came every Sunday. My daughter with her famous chocolate chip cookies, my grandson tugging at my sleeve to play cards. Those early visits felt like lifelines, proof I still mattered. But then the excuses started. "Mom, we're so busy this weekend. Next time, I promise." And just like that, next time became never. I'd sit by the window every afternoon watching cars pass by, hoping one would turn into the driveway. The staff would pat my shoulder and say they'll come soon. But their pitying looks told the truth. Holidays were the worst. Empty chairs where my family should have been, while I ate turkey from a plastic tray with strangers. One night, I overheard a nurse say, "Mrs. Thompson's daughter called, she can't make it again." That casual remark shattered me. It wasn't anger I felt, but grief. Grief for the relationships that were slipping away, for the memories we'd never make. The cruelest part, I understood. Life moves on. Out of sight really does become out of mind. If you're considering a nursing home, ask yourself this painful question. How will you feel when birthday cards replace birthday hugs? When phone calls become your only connection to the people you love most? Comment 3 if you've ever worried about being forgotten. And don't miss Chapter 4, where I'll share how this isolation steals more than just companionship. It steals your very will to live. There comes a moment when you realize you've stopped living. You're just existing. For me, it happened on a Tuesday. I woke up to the same beige walls, the same scheduled breakfast, and it hit me. Nothing needed me anymore. At home, even small, tasks gave me purpose. Watering my plants, sorting the mail, deciding what to cook. Here, my plants were plastic. My mail was handed to me already opened. My only choice at meals was which pre-packaged pudding I wanted. I watched Mr. Jacobs, a retired teacher, stare blankly at the TV for hours. "Used to shape young minds," he muttered. "Now I can't even choose my own damn channel. The nurses meant well. "Join the sing-along," they'd chirp. But what they didn't understand, I didn't want entertainment, I wanted responsibility. I needed to feel necessary. Then came the crushing realization. The less you're needed, the less you fight to stay. I stopped setting my alarm. Why bother? The days blurred together in a haze of scheduled monotony. If there's one thing I beg you to consider, it's this. What gives your life meaning now? Because those precious reasons, the cat that depends on you, the garden you nurture, won't follow. You into this place. Comment 4 if you've ever feared losing your sense of purpose. And wait until Chapter 5, where I'll reveal the shocking physical decline no one warns you about. I used to pride myself on staying active, walking to the mailbox, tending my rose bushes, even dancing a little when my favorite song played. But just 6 months after moving in, I needed help standing up from a chair. My legs, once strong enough to carry groceries up the front steps, now trembled climbing out of bed. The nurses called it natural aging. I knew better. At home, I moved, constantly without thinking, reaching for spices on high shelves, bending to pet the neighbor's cat, stretching to change a light bulb. Here, everything was designed to prevent movement. Meals came to me. My bed adjusted electronically. The safety rails might as well have been prison bars for my muscles. I watched it happen to others too. Mrs. Chen, who used to walk laps around the garden, now slumped in a wheelchair. Mr. Wallace, who'd been recovering from hip surgery, actually got weaker under professional care. The cruel irony. They call it assisted living, but it's really assisted decline. Your body forgets what to do when it's not challenged. And once lost, that strength rarely comes back. Comment 5 if you've seen this happen to someone you love. Don't miss the final chapter, where I reveal why leaving becomes nearly impossible and what I wish I'd done differently. When I first arrived, I thought this was temporary, just until I got back on my feet. But here's the truth. No one tells you nursing homes are designed for one-way entry. My family had already cleared out my house to save money. My favorite chair was sold. My kitchen tools donated. Each visit they'd say, "You're doing so well here," while quietly dismantling the life I might return to. The message was clear. This wasn't a pause. It was an ending. I watched new residents arrive every week. Some defiant, "I'll be out by Christmas." Others resigned. Within months, the fire in their eyes dimmed. The walkers appeared, then the wheelchairs, eventually the hospital beds, the cruelest twist. The system makes leaving nearly impossible. Financially, my savings were draining to pay for care I didn't yet need physically. The lack of activity left me too weak to live alone bureaucratically. My family had signed paperwork for my safety that now required legal steps to reverse. One afternoon, I overheard a nurse say to a new resident, "Think of this as your new home." That's when I understood. They don't call it transitional care. They call it permanent placement for a reason. If you take nothing else from my story, remember this. The easiest decision to move in becomes the hardest decision to undo. Comment. Home, if this opened your eyes, share this with someone who needs to hear it before their choices disappear. Old age is inevitable. Giving up your independence doesn't have to be. Fight for your freedom while you still can.